In our culture, the grandparents raised the firstborn after I gave birth. His mother grinned as I turned down. Then you are dishonoring our forefathers. My spouse seemed conflicted. That evening, I gave someone a call. They opened their mail the next morning and shouted upon reading what I had done. My first kid had lately been born. A gorgeous, healthy newborn boy. Though tired, hurting, and overburdened, I also felt happier than I had ever known. As I gazed at our kid, Adam, my husband, was right next to me, clutching my hand. I assumed our family's life would be beginning here. What was coming was unknown to me. A few days later, Adam's parents arrived from out of state. Though Cecilia, his mother, had always been demanding, I felt this was typical mother-in-law conduct. She was outspoken, passive-aggressive, and perhaps too interested in our life. Nothing I could manage about her. Alternatively, I thought, when they got to the hospital, they looked at my kid once and said something that made my tummy turn over. Grandparents raised the firstborn in our society. I blurted, "Excuse me?" Cecilia grinned as she described the temperature. Custom is what drives it. The grandparents were raised the firstborn. Generation after generation have followed this path. I gushed. Not a true laugh, but one of those skeptical, frightened giggles when you believe someone is kidding. Then I glanced at Adam's face. He was uneasy. He did not find laughter appealing. My pulse tuned as I turned to face him. "Do you know about this?" He moved awkwardly. Later, I assumed we would discuss it. Ecologist clasped her hands, delighted. "There's nothing to discuss. Our house's nursery setup is already in progress. He will be very pleased with us." My lips got dry. "You believe I will just turn over my child?" The grin of Cecilia never faded. If anything, it opened out more. This is always the case. The grandparents have enormous honor. Of course, you will still be his mother. From a distance. Raising him with our values will help him to understand and cherish it when he is older. I watched Adam, waiting for him to say anything, to tell them this was crazy, to cover for me, to say no to his mother. He only turned to face the floor. At last, Cecilia's husband, Robert, spoke. "This is just how it is. In our household, we do not disdain customs." My heart throbbed. In my household, moms really raise their own children. Cecilia's face became stiff, but behind it, she exuded something arrogant. "You are so declining?" "Obviously." She shook her head and sighed dramatically. "You therefore are denigrating our forebears." I thought I could be in a type of fever dream. Though my body was still weak after delivery, I sat up straight, not interested. Her eyes blinked. "Consider this before you arrange a mistake. Adam understands. He has great regard for his background. He understands this is how things ought to be." Adam still turned away from me. I closed my hands into fists. I looked over at my spouse. "Would you want to offer them our son?" His jaw stiffened. Though I wanted not to, I cut him off. "Not at all. You are with either me or with them." Cecilia staggered. "You are forcing him to decide between his family and you?" I fixed her in the eye. "For him, I am his family." This I gestured to my kid asleep in his hospital bassinet. "Is his family?" Silence. Cecilia then gave forth a gentle laugh. She turned her head and murmured, "Well, this is fascinating." Her eyes' stare made my skin crawl. Though I knew this was not finished, I had no clue what she intended. I had just delivered a baby. I looked worn out. I rested. I let it go for the evening then. I was not foolish, however. I could see Cecilia's smug smile. Adam had hesitated in this fashion. Robert's attitude toward me like I was a hassle. I wasn't going to see what they attempted next while waiting around. That evening I gave a call. Cecilia and Robert got something in the mail early the next morning. Second, they opened it and began to yell. The shouting began almost right away. My body still hurting, I sat at the hospital bed, cradling my kid. On the nightstand, my phone hummed. Adam froze when he saw the caller ID. His mother. I did not grab for it. "Respond in hushed voice," he said. I gave my head a shake. No, his hands closed at his sides. What action did you take? I turned to look at him. What I needed to accomplish. Pulling his own phone, he dashed into the hall. A few seconds later, Cecilia shrieked. Even through the hospital walls, I had given my lawyer a ring. Yes, I had a legal attorney, as I wasn't naive. I knew the instant Cecilia started that this wouldn't be a straightforward argument, a family conversation. No, this was more of a fight, and I was not about to battle empty-handed. I had legal paperwork in place when I was released. Temporary custody orders, documentation proving my parental rights, and an emergency stop and desist notice against my in-laws trying to pick up my kid. Along with a message, I had also delivered directly to their residence copies of everything. You do not own my kid. Do not put me under test. Adam returned, his jaw hard and his face pallid. You took them by surprise. Though there was no comedy in it, I laughed. When they attempted to kidnap my baby, they blindsided me. His sense of smell intensified. You even allowed me not speak to them initially. I glanced at him, then at our kid asleep in my arms. You had conversations with them. Standing there, you let them say it. You did not fight for me. You fought for none other than him. His shoulders went slack. It's complicated. No, I responded, my voice stern. It is not. You either don't, or you safeguard your kid. Silence filled the space between us. Now I knew not who this guy was. The guy I married would never have permitted this to happen, but I had infant to consider, and I couldn't afford to waste time on a guy too weak to defend his own family. The next day we left for home. Every door I locked. I double-checked every window. Perhaps I was paranoid, but it made no difference. 2 days later, Cecilia moved once again. She arrived up at our front door, Robert standing rigidly next to her. This time she was not grinning. She said gently, I just want to talk. For the family. Arms crossed, I stood at the gateway. There's nothing for us to discuss. She let out a big sigh. You behave as if we attempted kidnapping him. I blinks. You really informed me you were picking up my baby. Robert's lips became a narrow line. It's fine. My stomach spun. Get off the land I own. Cecilia started to grin, then stopped. She remarked, looking at Adam, her voice sickly sweet. You going to let her address us this way? Adam moved up next to me. Perhaps we ought to know, at least I turned to him. They believe they are entitled to our kid. You want to get entertainment from this. Cecilia's eyes darkened. Though you won't win, you might find this challenging. I raised my chin. Regarding that, we will see about... She gasped loudly, then started to grin. We will resume. I closed the door squarely in her face. That evening I did not go asleep. Every sound outside caused me to leap. Every shadow in the corridor had my pulse racing. Adam sat up in bed as I held my infant near. You have to reconcile with them, he said. I turned slowly with my head. I'm excusing myself. He muttered, scratching his face. They're not going to back down. They really take this very seriously. Thus am I. He grumbled. They are just acting from what they believe to be right. I turned to look at him terrified. You find what they're doing to be appropriate? He answered, I believe it's their custom. And we understood that upon marriage. My breath seized in my throat. Adam, what then? You suggest I should just turn over my baby? Allow them to carry him. He peered at me, something contradictory blazing in his eyes. He groaned and got to his feet. For a few days I will be staying at their house. Clarify my head. My blood changed to become ice. What? I have to consider, he added, reaching for his luggage. He breathed hard during this whole process. It is just a lot. You are going away from us. My voice faltered. He would not look at me. I saw him go through the door, and I knew then as well. This changed beyond my in-laws now. It has to do with my hubby, and I had lately lost him to them. That evening, Adam left his house without returning. Alternatively, the next. I told myself first he just wanted space. Perhaps maybe he would see what mistake he was making. But on the third day, I woke up to his message. We ought to discuss. See me right at my folks' place. Every instinct in my body cried out, nay, but I was looking for responses. I wanted to know whether there was still something to fight for, or if the guy I married was really gone. I so left. Something plummeted as soon as I turned into their driveway. Cecilia appeared at the door, grinning as if she had already won. Adam behind her was rigid and inscrutable. With my baby buckled in his car seat and a firm hold on the handle, I ascended the stairs. You wish for what? Not thinking through politeness, I asked. Cecilia held her hands close together. Our conversation has lasted, and we consider ourselves to have reached a compromise. I fixed Adam a quick look. He did not look where I pointed. What kind of compromise? She turned to point toward the home. Let's discuss inside. I remained exactly where I had been. Her lips became thinner. You are irrational. You are also acting manipulatively. Her face became gloomy, but she then inhaled slowly. All right, she replied. This is our offer. In exchange for your letting us have complete custody, we will let you live with him. I started to chuckle almost. You believe I will be handing you my son? The grin of Cecilia became icy. Adam will bring you before court for custody should you oppose us, and we will support him as well. My pulse hammered. From what are you referring? Adam said his last words. He responded gently, I think he would be better off here, including them. Something within broke. You threatened to take my kid from me? I only want for him what is best. I became ill. My own spouse was turning against me. Seeing my anxiety, Cecilia jumped. She answered naturally, with our lawyers and our contacts, we will win. We do not, however, wish to remove him from you totally. You may still be engaged even if you now accept our rules. Holidays, visits, you mean controlled trips with my own child? Her grin was genuine. It surpasses nothing. My fingers hurt as I held the car seat handle so tightly. I will ruin you if you attempt to grab him from me. Cecilia's eyes shuddered with something. Was it entertainment? We will discuss about it. I left my house not returning. I knew I wouldn't be able. Adam carries a key. Hi, familiar with the security codes. He might stroll in any moment he pleased. And who knew what his parents might attempt next if they were supporting him? I so drove directly to the office of my lawyer. I set everything out just exactly. The risks, the compromise, how Adam had turned on me overnight. She listened closely, notes taken, then glanced up. You have to go. I nodded and gulped. Exit? You must leave this here. Should they seek custody before you do, they may argue that you are mentally ill, reluctant to comply, or even abducted your own child. The hall seemed to be whirling. But his is mine. Legally, she continued, he is both of yours. And should Adam choose to forward this, you may find yourself in a protracted, unpleasant fight. I closed my jaw. What then ought I to do? She slanted forward. Get to a place of safety. Now file before they do for emergency custody. And everything you do, keep yourself from allowing them to define you. I shakily let out and exhaled. Fine. That evening I packed a suitcase, grabbed my kid, and headed off. I had nowhere to run to. My family was spread around the nation. Although I had pals, none of them I trusted with anything this size. I therefore got behind the wheel, over hours, till I lost the ability to keep my eyes open. With my heart thumping the entire way, I stopped at a modest roadside hotel at last and carried my kid inside. I closed the door, put a chair under the doorknob, then dropped onto the bed. I slept very barely. Every sound set me off, expecting to see Adam or Cecilia looming over me. I gave my attorney another call early the following morning. I have to ask for emergency custody. Good, said she, but there is another as well. Just what? She faltered. Adam went first. I tumbled through with a rush of nausea. Exactly what? They say you're erratic, she said. You're fleeing with the baby, not letting Adam see him. My tummy turned around. I had to, however, they frightening me. She remarked coldly. They have more resources. And in situations like these, courts usually lean toward split custody at best. I took hold of the phone. She sighed, at least once more at night. At best, they may contend you're unfit, that you were kidnapped by him. My blood was frigid. This was more than just a struggle now. War was what we were experiencing. I found it difficult to breathe. Adam had sent his first file. He was attempting to depict me as unstable, the one looking out for our kid here. My attorney advised us to move quickly. You should show up today. We will document a counterpetition seeking complete custody. Are any records of their threats available? I gripped my teeth tightly. Not one. Nothing tangible. Not one other but my word. And in court, it wouldn't be sufficient against Adam's privileged, well-connected background. I just had one shot. I had to show they were hazardous. I also knew just where to start. I went back over every arrogant, confident remark Cecilia had said. She would win, as she knew. It has to be beyond mere confidence. She had a planned event. My hands trembling, I handed over my phone. One individual could assist me out of all them. Lisa, Adam's cousin. Lisa has always been the family's dark side black sheep. She was freewheeling, independent, everything Cecilia despised. I called her at that number. She listened for the second ring. Hi, hello. I let out a strong breathed. Lisa, I rely on you. She said nothing for a minute. When you at last solved it, did you not? My tummy turned. What does this mean? Lisa exhaled. Not first among others is you. Cecilia has done this in past. I stopped. Well, what? Lisa said in a low voice. She treated my mom the same way. I pushed back fiercely. What followed? She carried my elder brother off. Lisa spoke with waivers. Years of battle were waged by my mother. Cecilia did, however, have money, attorneys, clout. She came out victorious. I closed my hands into fists. Lisa said softly, she will attempt to make you appear like the unstable one, emotionally drain you and bury you in legal bills. I became ill. How am I going to stop her? Lisa stopped. I have something, then she said. One item you might find useful. Lisa sent a tape to me. Years earlier, Cecilia recorded a covert tape talking about how she had paid off a social worker, falsified evidence, and manipulated the courts to get Lisa's brother custody. Rising in my breast as I listened was wrath. I had evidence. I straightforwarded it to my attorney. She phoned me in a few minutes. This transforms everything. I waited not for the court date. I simply headed to Cecilia's residence. There was Adam, and so were Cecilia and Robert. Looking smug, they were seated in their immaculate, pricey living room. Walking in, I carried a phone. Cecilia looked at me hardly at all, at last beginning to make sense. I gestured with my phone. I came to bring something, really. I activate play. The room hummed with Cecilia's voice. You believe the courts give truth top priority? Please. It usually comes down to who has the better attorney. Correct linkages, you purchase the authenticity, and that moron girl never had any chance. She lost color from her face. Robert got standing. Just what the devil is this? A recording, I said, of your wife's admission she stole a kid. I turned to Adam. And this is the lady you believed in above me. Adam stared pallid, his eyes flitting between his mother and myself. This, Cecilia stuttered, is taken out of context. I laughed gently. Oh, goodness. About that, let us question a judge. Adam spoke with a scratchy voice. Mom, tell me this is untrue. Cecilia closed her lips. Lock it. He need just that. His face disintegrated. You said lies to me, he murmured. The way Cecilia expressed became distorted. I acted for our family's best advantage. No, he answered with trembling voice. You acted for your greatest advantage. He swung to face me. He had remorse in his eyes. I mumbled a mistake. I pulled my arms across. You really were. He bit hard. Is that anything we can correct? I fixed a long glance at him. No, the court case was rather nasty. Cecilia battled valiantly, but the tape was negative. Her lawyer ripped her apart. Finally, I was given complete custody. Cecilia was not let see my son. Adam had very little supervised visits. He was trying to say apologies, pushed for again another opportunity, but I had already wasted too much of my life awaiting his defense of me. I was going to stop waiting. A few weeks later, Lisa got in touch. She asked, "Not sure how you accomplished it. You outperform her, however." I saw my kid soundly asleep in my arms. I had to.